Hi, hello, friends. Welcome back to Night Court Narrative. I am Elvish. I hope you are doing very, very wonderful. Today, it's actually kind of a funny story. Today, we are discussing Clause for Suspicion by Deborah Blake. I want it to be very clear. I was unaware that this was a 3-book series, and I am reading book 3. Didn't know that. My bad. I saw spoopiness and everyone recommended this book for fall. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and read it. I had no idea. Let me go off of that first. This book is actually a really good standalone. I gave this book a 5-star rating. It's actually the top 10 or one of my top 10 favorites of the entire year. I really, really enjoyed this book. I absolutely devoured this book. I loved it so much. It's very rare for me to give 5 out of 5s because I just feel like I have this imaginary checklist where if everything is marked off, you get a 5 out of 5, and there's always one thing missing to where I can't give it a 5. So the fact that I gave this a 5, I absolutely loved it. This was perfection to me. Yes. But anyway, going off of the standalone super quick, you don't really, in my personal opinion, because I don't know the other books, you don't really need any of the information from the other books to get through this one. This is about Kari. She ends up winning the lottery. I guess as I've now done my research, she wins the lottery in book 1. She does get she like builds and whatever an animal shelter. Mind you, that's all book 1. It says all of that at the beginning of book 3 as well. It doesn't really go into like full detail. I'm sure that book 1 did, but it gives you enough to be like, oh, okay, no, that's chill. I like that. So, in my opinion, if you did read this for fall as a standalone, you're not going to be confused at all. Like, at all. Like, I wasn't confused whatsoever. Like, okay, I don't know who that is. Okay, I don't know. Like, it was so well written to the point where you didn't have questions wondering what was going on, if that makes sense. This book did give me massive Dream Harbor vibes. I understand it was released before Dream Harbor, but it did give me massive Dream Harbor vibes. And if y'all know, Dream Harbor is one of my all-time favorite series ever. It did feel like that. So let me go ahead and let me just do the quick summary, super quick, so we can get our thoughts out. But yes, 5 out of 5, absolutely loved it. If I would probably go as far as saying maybe like a 5.5 out of 5, if I'm being honest with you. I don't necessarily think it deserves like the 6 out of 5, like, you know, superior ratings that we give, but definitely a 5 out of 5, solid. But yeah, we have Kari. She won the lottery. She decides to open a pet shelter. Her ex-husband comes back after 4 years, saying the divorce never happened. Of course, she's like, wait, like what? So they start deep diving into their divorce. He is a complete arrogant asshole, and we'll get into that. Charlie is insufferable to a T. He is absolutely the most narcissistic human being I have ever met in my life. So he's like, well, my business isn't doing well, so you're gonna give me my money because we're married and we get half of everything. She's like, no. First of all, like, if I give you half of my money, I literally have nothing. Like, I would be poor. And so he's like, well, what the fuck ever. So he keeps inserting himself in every single situation. So Kari is dating Angus. He is the veterinarian, a hunk, mind you. So she's on a date with him. Of course, Charlie comes up, butts his head in, and he's like, you know you're out with my wife right now, right? Like, doing the whole, like, chest beat thing, like, the whole, I'm a big man. No, you're not. No, you're not. Sit down. So, of course, Angus is like, who the fuck are you? Like, not even like the who are you, like literally who are you, but kind of like the who are you? And of course, it's a really small town, so that gets around, and everyone's like, oh my god, he punched him, and there was a massive fight. There wasn't. It's just small town talk, you know. So we keep going. There's this little party that happens, and every town folk is there. Mind you, a lot of them are friends. I don't have all the friends' names. I'm sorry. I actually really didn't write notes on this book because I just enjoyed it so much. I was thriving while reading it. So I was like, I didn't need notes. I'm good. But Carrie and all of her friends, most of them work at the pet shelter with her. Some of them don't. They end up going to this party. There's this random woman that just keeps inserting herself. She comes to the pet shelter, starts asking weird questions, and then asks about adopting a dog. But she's asking like super weird and personal questions. So we don't know who she is yet. I did guess her that chapter, and I'm like, oh, maybe she's Charlie's girlfriend. She was. And then we eventually find her on a date with Angus, and now we're kind of thinking, is he not really who we want him to be? Like, is he not really precious baby number one? So yeah, she's now inserting herself everywhere. So we have this party. Both Charlie and mysterious girl, aka Charlie's girlfriend, arrive. So these servers come over, offer drinks. She takes it. She's like, bro, like, I don't even want this. Like, I'm just being nice to them. Like, okay, whatever. None of that was necessary. It was actually necessary for the story, but as far as like how much I loved it, I'm pretending like I'm there. Sorry. But like, it wasn't worth it. So then Charlie decides to be a massive asshole and starts taking food off of Carrie's plate. Mind you, it's a jalapeno popper. Mind you, he's a pussy that can't eat spicy food. So he takes one bite out of it, and he's like, oh my god, I can't believe you made me do that. First of all, no, she didn't. Second of all, grown-ass man. Third of all, grow up. I can go on for days. So he takes his beer, chugs that bitch, ends up taking his girlfriend's beer, chugs that bitch, and he's like, my god, my mouth is on fire, whatever. So then they get together. The next day, Carrie and Charlie do. Charlie is so determined to tear the pet shelter down so that they can make, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like, I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically luxurious camping. It's camping, but you have all utilities that you need, like beds, like what is it, vamping, something like that, I don't know. So he's very adamant about tearing down her pet shelter. Mind you, her pet shelter is everything that she loves. Like, that is everything that she's worked for and like built up to be her baby, and he just wants to tear it all down. So he even has like investors coming in and looking at it, and contracts are being made, whatever. Lo and behold, Charlie is now dead. Okay, he has been poisoned, and the rest of the book is trying to figure out who done it. It was a whole Sherlock Holmes versus Clue type deal where everyone was pointing fingers at everyone. The cop was kind of useless because the cop did point one finger at Carrie and was just like, I'm not budging. It was you. You fucking did it. And then they would bring evidence up. Nope, you did it. Okay, here's more evidence. Nope. So he was kind of useless. Obviously I guessed it before the ending, but Charlie's girlfriend was the one that offed him. She is also the one that got rid of all of their divorce papers to quote unquote make their divorce never happen. So she was the attorney or whomever that did that. So that's cool. Which also in turn, I laughed so hard. I was listening to the audiobook at the time because we were X and I were running around trying to find the Harry Potter donuts. Mind you, this is pre-recorded, sorry. So at the time. You're like, are there Harry Potter? No, sorry. But we were trying to, and I laughed so hard in the car. I had no idea what was coming. Um, Obviously, I think her name is Tanya. But Charlie's girlfriend does end up getting arrested. She goes to prison, which is absolutely hilarious. And because she decided to get rid of every document showing that Carrie and Charlie were divorced, Carrie got every single thing that Charlie left behind because he never made a will. So she, being his wife, air quotes, got everything that he owned. So it was like literally a double fuck you to Tanya. I don't know if her name's Tanya. I'm gonna call her that. That sounds right. It was literally like a double middle finger fuck you to Tanya, and I was laughing so hard. But yeah, that is Clause for Suspicion. I loved this book. Oh my god. The book did start a tiny bit slow. I will be completely honest about that. The book started a little bit slow, and I don't know if it's because it actually started slow or because I read it immediately after the last book, License to Bite. And if y'all haven't seen that video, buckle up. But I don't know, it started kind of slow, and I was like, I'm kind of not feeling this, but it picked up wonderfully. I absolutely loved the pace that it was going at that point. Each character and each side character had their own complexity to them. They had their own personalities, which, you know, is one of my biggest pet peeves. So it was very, very nice. I could literally tell, even by like chapter 4, I could literally tell every individual character from one another, and it was perfection. I loved everyone, obviously, except for Charlie, which I have to give props to the author for that, because Charlie was an arrogant asshole. I could not stand him. I hated him with a burning passion. I cringed every time he opened his mouth because of the narcissism that just spewed out. However, that deserves props because his character was so well written, it makes the reader hate him. And if you are that good at writing complex and dynamic characters, kudos to you. Kudos to you. Like, I applaud you because I hated him so much, and I think that was the point because of the way he was written. There is no rhyme or reason to ever like this man. I wish death on him sooner, and it ended up happening like 20 chapters later. But he was so very well written. I don't know. I couldn't. Like, it was just so well done. I know I'm repeating myself, but just it doesn't happen very often. I don't find books like that very often. And honestly, the writing style was so refreshing. I know I said that in another video as well, but I also said it in another video as well. Writing lately, whether it's a romance, thriller, whatever, fantasy, whatever the case, whatever the book is, the writing style has become very copy cut paste. And I know 2 of those are the same thing. Fuck off, Brad. But it's become to the point where everything has the exact same format and everything is written the exact same way. I'm pretty sure you could get, like, no shade to Frida. I'm a Frida McFadden fan, but let's just say you can get like Frida McFadden and like what is her name? Lucinda Berry, I think. You can get one of each of their books, read them, and you cannot tell who is who. If you literally took the cover off and like scribbled out the name on them, because like, you know how most authors have like their name on the pages. If you took the covers off or like the binding off, scribbled out the names, and then gave us both books, you could not tell me you know exactly which author is which, because they sound so identical. They use the same verbiage, they use the same, as I said, writing format. Everything is to a T, so it's kind of very hard to differentiate writers nowadays. So whenever you get writing styles like this, as like Deborah Blake did, it is very refreshing because it gives you a sense of new. It gives you just a fluffy feeling. And I know that makes no sense, but like it made me feel good. It made me feel light and fluffy, and it made me just want more. And it really sucks that I read the third book first because there's no other book after this. But yeah, as I mentioned too, this book does remind me of Dream Harbor. I know that this series came out before Dream Harbor. This second book, or I'm sorry, this third book actually came out a year before Dream Harbor did. But it was nice to see another very well written small town, like I mentioned, like a Clue-ish. Yeah. It had amazing banter. I loved the laughs. I found myself laughing at times. Everything was just amazing. The friendships were great. As I mentioned, the banter was great, which also in turn leads to the dickery was great. All of it was just amazing. I do think, though, as I mentioned in the summary, I did guess the plot twist at the end by chapter 4. I don't think the plot twist was very twisty. If I keep yawning. If I give it the same review that I give everything else, like without playing favorites, I would say the ending was nothing special. It didn't really do anything for the story. It just solidified our assumptions. Obviously, the book was very... How do I want to say that? The book was very... Oh, I lost the word. It's the word where the book feeds you all the information at the beginning and you already know what it is, so when you finally get to the end... I'm sorry, I just woke up. Holy fuck, I am tired. I have not had any coffee yet. Wow, I forgot the word. Either way, I'm gonna say this in such an unethical way. The book already lined up all the information for you, and obviously the book is very straightforward and to the point, so it is not hard to understand who did done it. As far as like the girlfriend goes and all that. So at the end, the ending really isn't anything special because it's just solidifying what you already knew. Just kind of tying loose ends, even though we already tied them ourselves. It's kind of like you tying them and then the manager comes around and pulls on the knot, just make sure that it's good. That's all that it is. So I don't want to hype up this ending to make it seem like this whole grand thing. And even the plot twist, like I said, we already figured it out. There was no twist. It was not twisty. It was straight. It was whoop, you know? But I think the book was so well done that it didn't matter to me personally. I was still vibing out. I was vibing out until the very end, until I got to the author's note. So I personally didn't mind that it was a little lackluster at the end because, as I mentioned, it was just coming back and making sure that the knot that I had already tied was secure, and I'm okay with that. I do feel the need now, because I loved this book so much, I do feel the need to go back and reread book 1 and 2. So I might do that. Because, you know, I'm very curious. I kind of want to go on this ride with him, because if I loved the final book as much as I did, I feel like I'm just really going to love book 1 and book 2. But honestly, this was a fantastic book. And it probably wasn't anything special, but this is where I'm getting at, though. As I mentioned earlier, and as I mentioned in one of my oldest videos, and like I said, I know I mentioned it earlier, but all writing now is the exact same. So when you finally do get something fresh and unique like this, God, it stands out amongst the crowd, and it makes my heart flutter, because this was really good. You don't get small town you get small town romance, but you don't get small town whodunit, you know? You don't get small town. I don't even want to say this was thriller. Like, I don't know what this book was, to be honest with you. What is this book? Let me see. It's a cozy mystery. Oh, it's just a mystery. So you don't get like small town very often. So when it's done very well, I absolutely love it, because we had a few small town books that we've done on this podcast that completely fell flat, and every character sounded like the last, and you just can't decipher who's on the page and who's not, and it just makes for a very, very long book. I don't enjoy books like that, so I really do applaud the author for this book. I really loved the plot. I loved all of the plot changes. I did not see, though, I will be completely honest with you, I did not see Charlie dying. I don't know what I thought was going to happen in this book, but I definitely did not see Charlie dying. It wasn't until Charlie's death did I already know who did it. But I kind of thought that it was going to be a whole legal battle at the end. Or like the whole town was gonna come together and do the whole like tying themselves to the building or some shit, like the you cannot take it. Like, I thought that was going to happen. So the fact that I was probably blind to it, or the writing was so well done that I just had no idea what was happening, that was really nice too. But I don't know. I feel like I don't need to go into any more detail. This book was fantastic. 5 out of 5. As always, I don't really want to go into too much detail with books that I love, because I really want you guys to pick it up and read it for yourselves. Again, this is the third book in a series, so if you are sticklers about going 1, 2, 3, please read this series before you get to this book. If not, and if you had no clue like I did, just pick this book up. It is a really good standalone. It actually gives you enough information to vibe off of, so I don't necessarily think it was that bad. But oh wow, there's only 300 ratings on Goodread for this book. It's 300 ratings with a 4-star rating average, so obviously you know it's good, because you know that's not bad. It's whenever it has like 18,000 reviews and it's like an average of like a 3-star, you're just like it looks like majority, it looks like 32% gave it 5 stars and 43% gave it 4 stars. So it looks like mass majority gave it 4 stars. There's only one 1-star review, only 6 2-star reviews, and then 68, which is 21% 3 stars, 136, which is 43% 4 stars, and 101, which is 32% 5 stars. So yeah, this book is a good read. I would definitely take the time to read it, because honestly, it was such a very, very fun and enjoyable ride. But yeah, I hope y'all are doing well, and I hope that you continue to do well. We are getting closer to Halloween as we speak. And yeah, do you guys have any plans for Halloween, by the way? Any costumes? Or are you handing out candy? Not handing out candy? Are you going to a party? A haunted house? What are you doing? I'm being nosy. Let me know in the comments, because same. But anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Oh, maybe I should answer that question. Maybe I should, if I'm requiring you to answer, maybe I should answer. So at my job, they are allowing us to dress up. So I think I'm gonna do a very dollar store-esque, very work-appropriate version of Galinda Upland. Y'all know that I'm a massive Wicked fan, so I'm going to dress as Galinda at work. And then at home, I don't know. We were discussing possibly doing the Squid Game guards, so we might do that. I know Spirit Halloween. Ugh. I'm so sorry. Spirit Halloween just came out with a Galinda Upland dress. It doesn't look as good as the original, but the originals are like $800 up to like a few grand. So for $100, you know, you get what you pay for, but it actually looks pretty good. So maybe that. But no, I really want to do the guards from Squid Games. I think that'll be very fun. And then last year we didn't hand out any candy because I don't know. The past few years, nobody has been really trick-or-treating on our block. So we didn't hand out any candy. And course, of course, last year, everyone decided to bring Halloween back. And we quite literally had every child knocking on our door from like 10 miles. So we decided we might start doing candy again this year. And if we end up buying candy and we don't hand any out, I'm going to rage. I'm going to burn everything down and just do mass arson. Yeah. Yeah. That is our plan. So let me know what your plans are because I'm very interested. But until the next time, I hope y'all have a good day and I will see you in the next video. Bye.